What's going on, you guys? My name is Morgan and welcome back to another video. So in today's video, we're going to talk about when do you finally decide to get help relating to mental health. Now, mental health can be a little bit of a struggle for a lot of people, and I was one of those included, because I came from a family where mental health was rarely talked about, and when it was talked about, it was everything bad. Nothing about mental health was good. There was no reason to get help. Everything about it was, you don't need help. You are perfectly fine. You're making things up. So that was regards to my family. I went through that for over 20 years. Less than that, because when you're a baby, you don't have mental health. You don't struggle with mental health. But the bad things in my life started happening when I was probably it started pretty early. But mental health really didn't start until I could really comprehend what was going on. And mental health issues ran in my family. Mental health illnesses ran in my family. My mom has depression, and my grandmother has bipolar disorder. Many other mental health illnesses run in my family. But if you come from a family like mine where they believe that mental health is not a thing and that it's never needed, then you probably are in the right place for this, because I was in one of those families and I'm not anymore. I believe strongly in mental health awareness and believe that getting help for mental health is very important, because it's not just for you, it's for those you love and those in your family, that your husband or your spouse or your children, or just family that have stood by your side for as long as you can remember. Now, the only people in my life and family regards would be my husband. That is the only person that I have in my family lately. We don't have any other family, and we prefer to keep it that way because of the negativity and the toxicity around family. But mental health help also stems from my dogs as well, because my dogs need me as much as I need them, and they rely on me to take care of them. Now, when do you get help? Now, that's a very complicated question, because it's up to you when you decide to get help. No one else can make you get help. I didn't decide to get help until I finally moved out of my parents' house, because I could finally get help for myself without being told, you really don't need help. And that is a big problem for a lot of people that come from families like mine that are extremely toxic and that do not believe in help. But I finally decided after a while, it's time to get help. Nobody else is holding me back but myself. I'm out of my parents' house now, so I can finally get help. So that's when you really decide, do you want help or not, is when you finally cut the ties off that really made you into what you are. Now, mental health does run in the family, but you can develop things like PTSD. I developed PTSD from severe situations in my home, from severe mistreatment in my home with my father and my mother and my brother. So that stems from my PTSD, and it really resurfaced when I came out of the foster care system and things started happening. And it has affected me to this day and has affected my marriage. But no one can truly make you get help. It's up to you. There's no specific time on when you decide to finally get help. When it starts affecting your day-to-day life and starts changing you and starts changing the way you live, that's when you really need to get help. My mental health had affected my home life long before I moved out of my parents' home. But no one believed that I needed help. And even before I had a car, before I was 18, I needed help. But they believe that mental health is a scam and that you don't need help. So I had to wait until I moved out, and I finally was able to move out when I was 20 years old. I am 25 now, and I have been living on my own since for over 5 years now, almost 6. Whew, it has been that long. It's a struggle to remember how long that this has been going on. So that I decided to get help as soon as I moved out. And not just for me, but for Dot, when Dot was around. If y'all don't know Dot, y'all can go back in my previous videos and watch videos with Dot. But it was Dot that really made me want to get help, because I was really struggling 9 times out of 10. I was having a hard time with my day-to-day life, functioning in day-to-day life. So I finally decided to get help. And it could be as simple as that you decide, hey, I'm out of this horrible situation, and I finally have decided that I need help. And I finally decided that I can get help. Well, then that's when you get help. Or that you've been to, I don't know, rehabilitation, you've been to therapy, and someone tells you you need help, and you finally decide to get help. It took my husband forever to decide that he needed to get help. It was his mom that says, hey, you need help. He struggles with a rare form of bipolar disorder, as well as depression and anxiety and PTSD. And he finally decided to get help from his mom telling him, hey, you need help, and he was in his 20s. So, it can be the simple things that make you finally want to get help. For me, it was being out of that life and having my dogs and having Dot and Ruby and finally deciding, I need help. But then the more dogs I got, the more I realized, I do need help. with my situation, because the dogs can only get you so far. They are excellent therapy dogs, and then I do have a service dog to help with my PTSD and my panic attacks. Hi. And it is not Rue, just for the record. I would love to train Rue to be a full-time service dog to go out in public with me. She does help with my panic attacks with deep pressure therapy, but she is not my service dog that actually goes out in public with me. That would actually be Ruby. But Rue is my at-home one. Ruby needs a break, so we take Rue. And Rue provides good deep pressure therapy. And she provides even mental support and even emotional support, which that is an emotional support animal. But she helps with my panic attacks and my PTSD. Right. As well as alerting my husband when I start having a panic attack or something starts happening, because I have started having fainting spells throughout the year and last year, to the point where sometimes I know that they're coming on and I can't see, and Rue knows they're coming, so she will alert my husband, and in turn the dogs will all start barking because she is barking. But you have to make the decision for yourself of when you finally need help, whether you're out of a situation entirely that caused you not to get help, or things start getting worse for you where you finally realize that snap decision of, hey, I need help. So, it can be a process, but you have to make the decision for yourself. Nobody can make that decision for you. Thank you. And we're actually doing a lot better now, or I'm doing a lot better now. I have not spoken to my family in a very long time, and I prefer it that way because they did affect my mental health. But we'll get more into what I struggle with at another time. But you have to make the decision to finally get help. It could be some of the most simple things that finally make you decide to get help. But it's up to you. No one can make you get help. You have to make the decision and finally be sick of it to really go through with it. But anyways, Rue's biting my finger, so I'm going to go ahead and end this video. So thank you guys so much for watching. And as usual, you guys, I'll see you guys next time in the next video, maybe with a different dog. But Rue's with me for most of my videos. We'll see you guys later.